And good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. It's Stephen Sherman with Emotional Soul Healing. I welcome you here to another guided healing meditation. And today, talking about the feeling of vulnerability and what that feeling brings up here. So, if it interests you, I welcome you here to the call for today. And whenever you're ready, there, just finding yourself here into a comfortable position. And simply uncrossing your hands, uncrossing your feet, closing your eyes and taking in 3 deep breaths. And in your mind's eye, visualizing having a large silver plate. And on the silver plate, I'd like you to empty out whatever's occupying your mind, whether it's the stress for today, or from the past week, or the past month. If there's anything that's occupying your mind, there's no judgment, there's no blame. Be kind with yourself and empty out as much as you possibly can. And if required, you're welcome to bring out another silver plate, or as many other silver plates as possible. And when you're ready, watching these silver plates rising higher and higher into the vastness of the universe until you no longer see them. Imagine yourself here, walking through your garden, sensing and feeling the sun's warmth in your skin, and smelling the fragrance of the flowers and trees throughout your garden. Towards the edge of your garden, walking up the set of stairs, up to the door, guarding your own private island. In the doorway, there is a key. Taking this key and unlocking this door, stepping into your island, closing the door behind you, locking it, and keeping the key with you. I'd like you to welcome yourself here into your private island. And I'd like you to invoke and invite here onto your island your younger inner child. And as you gaze deep into the eyes of this inner child, what do you see behind those eyes? And if this inner child is showing up there with a bright smile or a bright face, ask the inner child on a deeper level, where's that feeling of vulnerability coming from? What's the mask worn behind the feeling? Is there a feeling of solitude or loneliness, or perhaps a feeling of embarrassment, or feeling shy or ashamed for whatever happened? I'd like you to give this inner child both a hug and a kiss, and thank you, inner child, for assisting you throughout this meditation. I'd like you to invoke and invite here from the light, your master guide and guides from the light here. And whether you see these guides or not, simply acknowledging them and thanking your guides for being here. Your master guide and guides are going to be showing you in your mind's eye some older files, some older experiences that are still running within the subconscious. And later on, I'm going to go in there, we're going to clear these files out. I'd like for you and your inner child to walk to this theater and take a few moments there. And you're going to be watching these movies. So enjoy your movie here with whatever needs to flash in front of your mind's eye. And equally, if nothing shows up there, be kind with yourself and just take a moment there just to remain in your silence. And I'll be back with you here in just a moment. You're going to be joined here by your guides here from the light, your healer guides, and your healer guides are going to be assisting you with cutting and unplugging as many of the files here as possible. So for whatever's showing up for the feeling of vulnerability, if it's the other masks worn around it, either known or unknown to you, if it's feeling vulnerable, if it's feeling like walking on eggshells, if it's the feeling or the fear of asking for permission, or what's that vulnerable feeling? What was it to say if mom said something, or if dad said something, or somebody else if they called you by your full name? On the inside, did you have that reaction? Or the reaction of perhaps jumping or not feeling at ease? Or being grounded, then all of a sudden feeling shook up from it? From the feeling of vulnerability, if it was a tough time asking for something, requesting for something, or perhaps was over pleasing all the time just to fit in, having a tough time feeling accepted or feeling the vulnerability of it. If the feeling is coming up for the fear of vulnerability, if it's the fear of expressing one's own truth, or simply expressing or sharing with what's going on. So ask your guides here from the light to assist you with having all these files, all these feelings, known or unknown to you, perceived or experienced, everything back from the initial trigger, the initial boiler point, and all the collective masks worn throughout all the years. Everything back from the family, the inner child, from the culture and the religion, from the collective environment, and asking your guides here from the light, everything from the collective past, present, and future self, asking to have all these collective files and feelings placed into the field with peace, compassion, universal love and grace. Taking in a deep breath, please. Holding it. And with a purifying exhale, breathing it all out. For any of the files and for any of the feelings coming in from the feeling of vulnerability, and I'll use me as the example, let's say for the feeling of vulnerability where it's stepping out of one's comfort zone, doing something that never done before. In this case for me, it's going public with this, public speaking. As another example, in the past I had a comfortable 6-figure job and great people, really great people to work with. It was just deep on the inside. There was a part of me where I was dying on the inside. So it's not so much what we see on the outside, it's what's going on the inside, and I knew it. So, and that part of that came from I lost a friend who was in his 50s and is no longer here. So that was one vulnerability. And another vulnerability was leaving my dream job at the time. And I'm like, well, why are you doing that, Stefan? Why would you leave something that's by societal norms, or say by the family, by the cultural labeling of things? I said, well, I woke up and deep down inside it just wasn't happy. I really was not happy with it. So in the short of it, I made the decision, stepping out of my comfort zone, and that was one of the first steps with stepping into taking that leap of faith with the universe. Now, I'm not recommending it. I'm just sharing my own experience with what I had to do. So I'm just sharing with it. You got to do what you feel comfortable with, what your comfort zone is, and what you're willing to give up. So again, this is just from my own experience. So vulnerability can also include things, let's say being seen at one's most weakest point, feeling exploited, feeling betrayal, feeling treachery, either feeling blindsided. If it's at the vulnerability at being brought down to one's knees or down to one's kneecaps for whatever happened, whether it's the promotion didn't go through, deep down inside thinking that business degree or that university degree was going to up level to the next thing, and we're deep down inside realizing or having the understanding that a phase of that life there, it's gone, and it's time to move on and do something, doing something else. And was I willing to take a chance or a risk with doing something completely brand new? The vulnerability can come from being in a relationship for many years, and then for whatever it is, from that relationship having to step out of it, or having that separation from it, and being vulnerable with being back, being single, and then starting from the ground up. That feeling of vulnerability can also come from with being or having a massive goal and a massive dream, and then wind up getting shut down by our own health. And this was my own experience many years ago, that, and I've heard it many, many times here, the biggest gift that we all have here, our biggest wealth, is our health. And the moment that got impacted in, from me, I'm saying from me personally, when my health at the time got majorly impacted, that was a massive wake-up call for me to say, hey, this has been great. However, I'm bowing out and I'm doing something else. I'm taking care of my hide. And when that type of a decision was made, it exposed all kinds of things for me. So the feelings of oversensitivity, feeling nervous, stability, everything from underneath, the rug got pulled out from underneath. And I'm like, well, Stefan, what are you going to do now? Or let's say being in a really wonderful relationship, and everything has a divine timing or a divine essence to it. And the vulnerability can be with sharing one's what's felt in the heart, sharing that with somebody, sharing an intimacy thing, whether it's the goal or something deep down inside that one would like to share with somebody else. And sometimes it takes a lot of courage or a lot of fortitude just to break through that barrier, just to have that, giving oneself the permission to express with deep down inside how to make that person feel. It can also be something that, I'll use me as an example here. There was a fear of asking, or the fear of expressing. And if it's not handled back from a younger age, I guarantee you'll have that experience somewhere else in your life, where the universe will take that experience and will bring it back full circle in another way. And it's going to be asking in a way that, hey, was this feeling or was this situation or was this experience properly handled with or properly dealt with? So you can ask you guys here from light for any of these files and for any of these feelings associated with vulnerability. And that feeling can involve either feeling hurt, either feeling scrutinized. If it's the feeling of feeling raw, feeling exposed, feeling completely vulnerable, whatever, there was a secret or something that deep down inside you wished you had the guts to barf it out or to express it. And for whatever the situation is, give yourself the permission. You're going to ask your guides here from the light to remove as many of these masks, known or unknown to you, perceived or experienced. Everything back from the initial trigger, the initial boiler point, back from the inner child, stemming back from the family, the culture, and the religion. And asking your guides here everything energetically from your past, present, and future collective loops of energy. Asking you guys to place all these files and all these feelings into the field with peace, compassion, universal love and grace. Taking in a deep breath, please. Holding it. And with a purifying exhale, breathing it all out. For any of the files and for any of the feelings, for the feelings that are coming up there with feeling vulnerable. If you sit on the inside, and if you want to have an experience, let's say that for many years, for whatever happened, whether it happened within the family, whether it happened in school or later on in life, and whatever that experience was, and deep down inside really either regretting it, or let's say taking that experience, and there's no blame, there's no judgment, and there's no blame with this, taking that experience and say metaphysically taking that experience and then burying it somewhere deep down inside, out of sight, out of mind, where no one's going to find this thing, and burying this thing so deep that however deep the hole is, wrapping it up in chains, putting padlocks on it, encasing it with cement, and then burying it with mounds of sand or gravel and boulders, and from all those keys, from all those padlocks, taking those keys and flying somewhere else, and then burying those keys somewhere else where no one's going to find this stuff. You can ask your guides if you'd like to release it. The opportunities here. You're going to ask your guides here from the light to assist you with having all these files, all these feelings, known or unknown to you, perceived or experienced, back from the initial trigger, the initial bullet point, and any of the collective masks worn throughout all the years. If there's any hidden fears, if there's any hidden insecurities, if there's any hidden vulnerabilities, if there was any worries, any anxieties, whatever that pressure was on the inside that just compounded, say, over the years, whatever that vulnerable experience was from many years ago. Asking you guys to assist you with having all these collective masks from that experience. And again, there's no judgment and there's no blame with this. Asking you guides here from the light to assist you with having everything taken out back from the inner child, known or unknown to you, perceived or experienced, back from the initial trigger and the initial boiler point. Asking you guys to assist you with having all these cords, all these files, and all these feelings. Everything coming in back from the family, the culture, and the religion. Asking you guys to assist you with having all these collective files and feelings energetically from your past, present, and future self, energetically placed into the field with peace, compassion, and universal love and grace. Taking in a deep breath, please. Holding it. And with a purifying exhale, breathing it all out. For any of the files and for any of the feelings, if it invoked the feelings of sadness, say guilt, worry, shame, or deep down inside not voicing anything, not saying anything, masking it up with either the mask of denial or being sarcastic, I'd say, or the other mask there of laughing it off. Or if there's a feeling on the inside with, if it's not expressed properly, and if you keep bottling that vulnerability on the inside, at some point it's either going to affect one's health or running into an experience that they may not want to see or experience. So you can ask your guides here from the light to assist you with whatever it is. Again, there's no judgment and there's no blame. Ask your guides to assist you with having all these files, all these feelings, known or unknown to you, perceived or experienced back from the initial trigger and the initial boiler point, and all of the collective masks worn throughout all these years. You're going to be asking your guides to assist you with having all these files and all these feelings and all the cords taken out easily and with peace, You're going to place it into the field with peace, compassion, universal love and grace. You're going to have all these cords collectively from your past, present, and future self placed into the field. Taking in a deep breath, please. Holding it. And with a purifying exhale, breathing it all out. For any of the files and for any of the feelings. If it's coming, say, from a feeling of grief, if it's the emotional vulnerability, if it was from losing a pet, losing a loved one, or running into an experience where it brought a person down to their knees to such a point where they start questioning everything. They start questioning their existence. What are they doing? Why did this happen? Why is this happening to me? Feeling gutted out or deep on the inside, feeling so raw, feeling so exposed. If there was a feeling, say if it was a loss of a child, or if there was as an abortion, or if somebody in the family is asking about certain things and deep down inside there's that sensitivity of, well, do I say this or do I say that, or why was this secret held on to and why didn't you say anything? Why did you hold on to it for so long? Why didn't you tell us? Or that emotional feeling, that oversensitivity, if it's calling oneself out for whatever happened, that deep down inside, having the understanding that perhaps at the time they could have done a better job handling the situation, and perhaps out of that vulnerability, either melting down, not so much as melting down, but having as a breakdown, or just completely overwhelmed or overburdened with the emotions of it. And deep on the inside, having a really, really tough time saving face, saving grace. Or from the experience, not saying anything at all. So, I'd like you to ask your guides here from the light for any of these files and for any of these feelings. And for any of the feelings, if it made you feel shame, humiliated, guilt, guilty, made you feel devastated on the inside, if that feeling came up there, if there was a feeling of anger or a deep amount of sadness, you can ask you guys to assist you with having all these files and all these feelings peacefully taken out of your system with peace, compassion, universal love and grace. All the files and all the feelings come back from the family, the culture, and the religion, back from the inner child, known or unknown to you, perceived or experienced, back from the initial trigger, the initial boiler point. And I ask you guys to peacefully have all these collective files and feelings from your past, present, and future self placed into the field with peace, compassion, universal love and grace. Taking in a deep breath, please. Holding it, and with a purifying exhale, breathing it all out. On the top of your crown, on the top of your head, it's going to be a small lotus bud, both for yourself, for your inner child, and with all of your guides here from the light. You're going to be invoking and inviting in a pillar of white light from the universe. And as this pillar touches the top of your crown, you're going to allow this bud opening up into a lotus flower and allowing this divine light to flow down through your spine, down to the tips of your fingers, down to the bottom of your feet. And taking a few moments here with being filled in with the white light. Allow yourself of being completely filled in and washed in with a pillar of white light from the universe. It's not your own light, it's the white light from the universe. And I'd like you to take a few moments here and completely showering yourself here with the white light. And if there's anyone in your life that they're giving you a rough time or a tough time, you can ask the universe on your behalf to send them white light to lighten your day. Well, what I've learned here with the feeling of vulnerability, it is technically a person's biggest strength. And if it's utilized properly, and if you walk through that vulnerability, technically there's nothing else that anyone else can do to a person after that. Because when a person's exposed to their most vulnerable core, where else are they going to hit them from that angle or from that perspective? That vulnerability gave me a tremendous amount of growth, leadership, being grounded, dealing with whatever's going on in my own life. And that vulnerability allowed me to grow. It fostered a lot of growth, a lot of necessary growth here. So I'd like you to ask your guides, as you're being completely showered here with the white light, being embodied with a pillar, being embodied with a pillar of universal love, universal joy, universal peace, and say with a pillar of universal relation. Ask your guides to embody that positive energy into your physical being. And as you're being filled in with the white light, sending that white light outside of your etherical being and radiating this white light out in all different directions. Keep radiating and filling yourself in with the white light and sending that white light several kilometers or several miles away from your home. Thanking the universe for the white light. And I'd like to give you inner child here, both a hug and a kiss. And thank you, inner child, for assisting you here throughout this meditation. Thanking your guides here from the light. I'd like you to thank all of your guides here for today, for assisting you throughout this meditation. And whenever you're ready, walking back to the door, guarding your island, taking out your key and unlocking this door, stepping out from your island, closing the door behind you, locking it, and keeping the key with you. Walking back down the set of stairs, back out into your garden, and throughout your garden, picking up a flower or two, and whenever you're ready, gently moving your hands and feet, opening your eyes, taking in 1 or 2 deep breaths, and welcome back. So be kind with yourself, treat each other well, and drink lots of water. If you're feeling tired, go have a nap or go to bed for an earlier time. And until next time, have a great day. And thank you for joining. Take care.